Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. In the newsroom, you can't afford to miss it. Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. In the newsroom, you can't afford to miss it. Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. In the newsroom, you can't afford to miss it.
With regard to numerous or countless numbers of challenges Nigeria is facing like other countries, Nigeria still remains the giant of Africa, where people appreciate it, particularly when they go abroad, because of the brain Nigeria has. And recently you can see that Nigerians are involved in the coming, that is of the new political dispensation. Even in America, as we have been noticing that Nigerian brain is recognized throughout the world. We are still giant of Africa in terms of natural resources, in terms of human resources. We are great, but people usually say that Nigeria, as we are great, we still have some challenges. That is why, but the major problem Nigeria has is not only insecurity, but corruption. Then the former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, pointed it out. Yes, but I still say that it's an advice. It's an advice. He said that the former president said that fight corruption from the top. Then Bolaji said it's an advice. Okay, let us look at if we all believe that there is corruption, much corruption in the country, spreading across all boards. Talk about politics, talk about education, talk about agriculture, business, everything, as it is common in some other country. I want to welcome my guests, Babatunde Bolaji. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much.
And our boss, Sunday Adeleke.
I say good evening to viewers at home.
This is in the newsroom. Yes, you said he's an advisor that fights corruption.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Obasanjo said that he is advising the government to fight corruption from the top. It's an advice. He has only advised the federal government to take the bull by the horn and to begin to attack corruption wherever it rears its head. And let's come to think of it. What is the cause of, what the main cause of corruption is poverty. And
somebody said applause indiscipline.
Well, it's poverty.
Because rich people also are corrupt.
Let me say this. It is the main cause. There may be other causes, but the main cause of corruption is poverty.
Or fear of poverty.
Yes. The rich people who are caught in the web of corruption may have at the back of their mind that I don't want to go back to squalor. And it's a way of enriching themselves further, though very illegally. You see, when Chief Obasanjo said Nigeria, or the federal government as it were, should fight corruption from the top, he actually knows what he's saying. He actually knows what he's saying. Because he knows that corruption in this country is so much pronounced at the top. But let's go down the memory lane. During the days of the late General Murtala Muhammad and General Yakubu Gowon, what we had then was the oil boom. Even if there are corrupt practices, it was not as pronounced as we have it these days. And Nigeria was stupendously rich at that period. That was the period when we had all the flyovers in Lagos constructed. That was when majority of those roads were constructed, even in Lagos and all other parts of the country. But these days, if Nigeria says, the country, if you say Nigeria is poor or Nigeria is broke, we are trying to tell ourselves that the larger part of what Nigeria should call its resources have been carted away by Nigerians.
Just few Nigerians.
Those who,
I said just few Nigerians.
few Nigerians, but few Nigerians,
Few greedy Nigerians.
few greedy, few never do well in this country. And I don't know how they feel if they watch on television how some people are suffering. I don't know whether they have conscience that we tell them that what we are saying now should not be, or that we caused all these problems for these people. Because if the largesse are equally shared among Nigerians as it were in those days, then there will be no cause for anybody to say he's wallowing in poverty in this country. Countries that are less resourced across the world are there, and they are enjoying their whatever they may have made. But unfortunately, this is where we find ourselves in this country. So if Obasanjo says fight corruption from the top, I think I agree with him. Though while he was there, he did not actually do it.
Okay, Sandy, let us look at it from this angle. The statement. Are we going to say that the top is the center of corruption, or middle, or down, because we have 3 stages?
Well, it depends on one's perception. You know, it has often been said that corruption is a cankerworm which has eaten very deeply into every fabric of our nation. Talk of education. It's very disheartening. Then President Obasanjo said it should be fought from the top. Who is responsible for this corruption? There are people at the top.
Yes.
Fear of unknown, fear of where will I live, fear of what will I eat, fear of what my children will fall back on. If those at the top had done something proper, had done the necessary things, nobody will want to steal anything. You want food, it's available. You need house, it's available. You need electricity, it's available. Well, then why do you have to steal? Just one person having a fleet of cars. When some people cannot afford to buy a bicycle, you want to go to your place of work, you go there with ease. Then you will not have, why would you want to steal? Just like my colleague today said, that during the days of if it was before that, it was during the period of Gowon, we have oil boom. when it
When we
was
said that
stated
they had
that
money.
Nigeria has money, but we don't know how to spend it. That was when people at the top or at the echelon of affairs begin to pack our money down to abroad. Well, it has to be fought from the top. But we too, those of us
At the middle,
at the middle, even down,
the bottom.
even right from a primary school teacher, a primary school pupil who is a head boy or a head girl, one way or the other, they can say, okay, let's come. I mean, they contribute money for them to do this, to do this. All of a sudden, you see, the money is not complete again. Probably something must have happened somewhere. But if it is fought from the top, by the time somebody is accused, alleged, and found out to be corrupt, to have embezzled certain sums of money, no matter how little, if that person is taught the lesson of his life. Look at what happened in one of the African countries. A minister was accused, was alleged of embezzling people's money. Look at the way he was treated. If that can happen here in
Even something
Nigeria,
related to that one happened in the north when the chairman, during the time of COVID-19, the chairman was given food to be distributed. They didn't distribute. Then the people of the community, they went to him and they flogged him.
how many of that have you ever witnessed? No. So if truly it has to be fought from the top. Look at the Diagbon slash Buhari military regime.
Yeah.
Everybody
sat tight that time.
Yes, even
Fear of war against indiscipline
was the beginning of wisdom then.
But when you look at it, you know that the people at the base are the one that grows from as you said, from a pupil to a student, from a student becoming an adult. That is from, let's say, from councillor to chairman, from chairman to the governor and to the senate or president. That means that if the councillor is not corrupt, I think there will be no possibility for the chairman to be corrupt. Why can't we fight it from that?
I know. You see, fighting corruption has no echelon. Corruption itself does not have echelon. Corruption anybody can perpetrate corruption.
Anywhere.
It manifests itself anywhere. For example, let me give you an example. Our disrespect for the law is one of those factors that has allowed corruption to grow. Our disrespect for law. When Idiagbo came and said cocaine pushers in Nigeria will be executed by firing squad, they thought he was joking. And when some people were executed publicly, then the thing just went down. When Yakubu Gowon said, look, armed robbers will be executed by firing squad, then the armed robbery was reduced to the barest minimum because nobody wanted to die. There were no legislation, stiff legislative regulation against corruption. Well, before you know it, okay, look at one Rashidi Maina who made away with pension of the entire retirees in this country. But we never had the story again since that time. Eh? We have allowed indiscipline and corruption to fester in this country. And it has become the trademark with which Nigerians are identified and treated outside. Call yourself a Nigerian anywhere in the world, they will take the second, third, and fourth look at you. This is a Nigerian. That is it. Because they have heard a lot about our negative exploits in the world of corrupt practices.
So, in essence, accountability is a key factor. From the top, if you are found not to be accountable, if you are taught this, the lesson of your life, those at the base will know that, oh, if this thing goes down, it's going to be a trouble. But the fact remains, just like Tunde said, the fact remains that people at the top are responsible for corrupt and corruption tendencies because they have cornered all resources or they're just dishing out little. For example, if you want to rent an apartment that will be conducive for you today, you pay through your nose. But if we have a government that can put everything in places to make things comfortable for people, then there will be no need for corruption. Look at the issue of Yaya Bello. Look at the way he was running helter skelter before he submitted himself to the SEC. You know, it was even said or even seen that the governor of the state was the one who took him to EFCC office in his official car. Why should that be?
Suspect.
Somebody was alleged to have wrongly appropriated the state's money. You did not allow him to go and face him, not to go and answer for the allegation. That took him. Of course, our judiciary needs to sit up because some people even hide under the law to perpetrate some evil acts. You know, corruption is an evil act. It is something that belongs to everyone.
Just want to monopolize it.
You just corner it.
And also
I'm not
tracing the location of corruption. When we don't fight from down and we start from the top, then that means that those who are going to be produced, who are corrupt, down, they will still corrupt.
What are they?
Let me give you an example. See, our society is aiding and abetting corruption. For example, when somebody becomes a councillor in the community today, when a person, when somebody's wife gave birth to a baby, the next thing is to go to the house of the councillor. We have just given back to a baby.
Your baby.
The councillor knows what it means. How do you expect him to make money? Apart from his legitimate earning. Now, that it is so in all areas.
Especially political.
So, democracy in Nigeria itself fuels corruption. It fuels corruption. I mean, how can go to a soldier to say, how will you see a soldier?
Can you even have the God to go to?
That is it. So, because of the fact that democracy breeds laziness, look at.
For those who want to be lazy.
I have a tailor.
No, you are only saying democracy breeds laziness. You know, during the time of
no, let me narrate the story for just 1 minute. I have a tailor who sews clothes for people. during the days of a government in this state, when you go to a shop, I want to collect my shop, my clothes, they will say you are going to a political meeting. The first, the second day, the third day, a week, 2 weeks, is always at the political meeting. And one of the apprentices just decided to take over the shop. He was sewing clothes to people, he was collecting the money. And when the master came, were you the one that worked? I can pay for the machine used, but I'm the one that worked. And before you know it, that guy, he was able to...
Has made a lot of money.
He made, apart from making money, he was able to endear himself to the customers of his master. So what I'm saying in essence is that the corruption in that, because of money, he went for politics, using a legitimate means of livelihood.
But you know, politics, you can quickly make money from politics.
If the person is challenged.
That's
Making money from politics.
There are millions of voters.
Making money from politics is corruption.
Of course, now
It's corruption. You don't see democracy in advanced countries of the world. All positions are part-time, including the presidency. They only pay certain amount for work done either on weekly, monthly, or weekly or monthly basis.
Like I wanted to chip in during the period of Chief Awolowo. If you look at the historical line of those following, who among them did not have their legitimate job? I happened to interview one of his assistants where one he said, Awolowo will tell you, you must have your job before you do politics. You finance politics from your legitimate earning. But these days, people have seen this as a way of making quick money. And that is why they have impoverished our people.
That's it. You see, I have one of my father's relatives, dead now, was having a land dispute with somebody very prominent Ibadan person in Ibadan. He said, my lawyer was Ladoke Aketola. Ladoke Aketola was premier of Western region.
When Awolowo
he went to appear in court for his client.
A old premier.
He went there to appear for his client because he has taken the job before becoming premier. And when the case started, he went there personally and appeared before.
How many of our politicians do that?
Okay, let us trace this from the family. A child, a pupil of his school, has to bring a particular amount of money to come and pay for a particular thing. Then, when he got home, then he increased their amount. Then the mother also increased it. From there, they were increasing it. Can we say that the top corrupt the data?
It's still part of corruption. And it depends.
Why can't we fight it from our children so that they will not grow up into corruption? Instead of fighting those who are too bad, who are entered into corruption.
It depends on training. That aspect depends on training. You know, a house that is built on deceit will never grow. Will never succeed properly. And that is where corruption starts. So, but by the time you fight it from the top, by the time those at the base observe that those people at the top, they are facing a very huge music of their life, they will know that, oh, if I tell him, if I take something that does not belong to me, or illegally increase something, I will pay dearly for it. something of that nature will not happen.
What we say,
You know, people at the base, people at the base look at the people at the top to perpetrate whatever if their evil intention.
You see, why do we have radio and television? Is it not for us to have information, first-hand information? If somebody who is corrupt is dealt with, it will be carried by the news. The father will hear it, the mother will hear it, and pass it over to the children. Look, have you seen, did you hear what happened to so person? Anybody that is corrupt, that is what will happen to him. When I was in the primary school, my dad would tell me, if he sees a strange barrow in my bag, you ask questions.
That is where home training
that is
begins.
from the family.
Yeah.
But fighting it from the top this time around is also good. In fact, it's the best. It shows nobody is above the law. But in some cases where some people are made slaves of the law, it will not all go well for anybody in this country.
I believe that we agree with me that the junior today will become senior tomorrow. Likewise, followers today will become leaders tomorrow. If the followers today are not well trained, are not disciplined, are corrupt, then when they grow up, when they get to the top, can they be prince of corruption?
That is why fighting corruption must start from top.
Why can't it start from the base? Because the base will come to top tomorrow.
Then by the time the base, those
if they are corrupt,
they will not have the God. They will not have any God to be corrupt right from the base. Well, I mean, by the time they see, by the time they observe, just like my colleague said, by the time you by the time you take it on TV or radio, how many people will say, oh, look at what happened to so act of corruption. Look at, then those are the base we learn. That is why it's better to start from the top.
So during the days of, I'm sorry, my brother, during the days of the military, there was a coup on February 13, 1976, led by Lieutenant Colonel Buka Suka Dinka. The family of Dinka cannot come out to say I am family. They've changed their name because it was a crime,
a disgrace,
and the family became disgraceful elements. So, if a person, if a top official is dealt with right from the top, the family cannot come out to say I belong to so family. I am a younger brother to so person. You only identify with successfully successful people, not people whose failure are caused by corruption. You understand? So, fighting it from the top is better.
Look at what happened during the regime of Umar Musa Yar'Adua. He said point blank that the election with which he got into office was full of errors, and he admitted that it was not free and fair. That means that if such a person is not corrupt before he got to the top, but since then, do we have any president who declared that? Yes. The election.
Did we not have an election that was cancelled in this country, free, fair, and
by the people on the top?
By those people at the top. You understand? We have had an election free, fair, credible. What else do we want? Because of certain sentiment, somebody woke up from the wrong side of his bed and said the election is
It's still part of corruption.
It's still part of corruption.
Let me look at what happened in Ghana the other time, when the top was corrupt. They who fought it? The people on the ground.
People, and yes, you see, fighting corruption from the top was summarily carried out by J.J. Rawlings, who ensured that all those who had ruled Ghana from independence were eliminated. And that fear permeated the entire Rawlings regime.
And it brought sanity.
It brought
to that country.
Serious sanity to that country. Today, Ghana is ahead of other countries. I don't want to mention names.
class of corruption index.
Okay, look at since then you talk about the election in 1993. Then since then we cannot say that we have a viable election. Then majority of those who got to the power either through corruption or even in a particular state, the governor emerged as a result of gun.
No, don't go far. And a person came third in an election. The court declared him the winner. Then what are we saying?
So
What is logical? How is it? Does it?
And even somebody who didn't partake in primary become the candidate.
Somebody who was not part of the primary election became the candidate in this country. And we say, are those not happening at the top?
well, in that situation, if you look at it through the law, it is as a result of corruption. Probably the winner of that election perpetrated evil. It is corruption. It might be that the lawyer of the third candidate who was declared probably bribed his way out, or he excelled in his examination and the examination and cross-examination of the case before him, and he won. So it depends on the angle which one looks at it. So that is why the judiciary has to stand fair in order to uphold their work ethic, so that corruption will be minimized, so that corruption will be fight on headlong.
You see, we have had an election in this state where the president said this election was won by remote control.
By remote control.
President, the old president,
said,
Muhammadu Buhari, said, yes, the election in Osun State was won by remote control. And let me say this, does that conform with the dictum or with the definition of democracy as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people? Does it conform? Look, well, Nigeria is corruption, and I think corruption is Nigeria. And if we have to, if Nigeria must survive, let's fight corruption so that corruption will go, Nigeria will remain.
No, can corruption die?
Corruption may not die entirely, but it can be minimized to the barest minimum. Because, you see, those who can fight corruption in this country, I must confess, are the military. The military. But unfortunately, in democracy too, we can do it. We can fight corruption. If the top is discipline. If we make, if you are not a government that is a production or that is produced by corrupt people, will give back to corruption, and corruption will continue to multiply within it. For a government and for a president to say an election was, it is, even in America, nobody dare say that.
If at all they to have their own share.
They have their own movement. At least they play around it. Not to come out point blank and take the people's mandate for granted and say, yes, we won by remote control. Who does that? Where in this world?
So the main thing is corruption has to be fought from the top. Because
that is
even the Bible even said, when the head is something, when the head is rotten, what shall the righteous do? So people at the top will have to look at the people at the base will have to look at the people at the top, learn from them, learn from their mistakes. By the time they make mistakes and they are seriously dealt with, those are the base to say, oh, this person did this, what did the person do? not want to move very close to something that can disparage their family, that can bring the name of the family to disrepute. So, to cut those stories short, Chief Obasanjo has given advice, and the advice is that corruption must be fought
From the top. You see, when a child is born,
because it will serve as deterrent. Well, I mean, whatever decision is taken against whoever enrich him or herself illegally, whatever decision that is taken, it will serve as a deterrent to those activists.
you see, when a child is born, it comes with the head, not with the leg.
But
Meaning that
you said something today. You said something that if the government emerges as a result of corruption, which is the norm of the other Nigerian policy, that okay, when you see that if you want to nomination,
look, an election, a government that is the product of vote buying.
What do you expect?
What do you expect?
and that is
And
common.
almost all governments in this country, states, national, the local.
Automatically the top is rotting.
That is
Then
it.
where can we fight it now? Can we still
We
fight
fight
it?
it
Can,
too.
can corruptors fight corruption now?
No,
Or can we
corrupt-
start from the base?
That's what you are. Who will fight it from the base? Are they not the
Let
people at the
everybody
top?
train his family against corruption. From there,
No,
they will.
no,
That is why they have to look at the people.
You are the
top.
father. You as the father of the house. You are the head. Abi, you are the head. So you are fighting it from the top at your own level. It has to happen like that.
If as the head of the family you are disciplined, you don't do something that should not be done in front of your children, and if your children do something that is not worthwhile, you punish that child. It means you are fighting. I
From
mean,
the top.
it means you are giving a proper training to them. By the time you don't do something that is not to be done, it means you are standing in as a good example to your family. So also, our leaders should serve as a good example to the followers.
In Nigeria, we have had different governments. We had military. We had the ones that are good. We have the ones that are bad. Likewise, civilians too. We have the ones that are good. We have the ones we know them, and the posterity can never forgive them. But let us look at Obasanjo. He was a military head of state. Likewise, president for 2 terms. Then, when we look at his government, did he practice what he said?
You see, you are looking at the messenger. You are not looking at the
The
message.
message.
You
Is
understand?
there a difference?
Yes, they are not
It's a different thing now.
Look, my father will say somebody, he was referring to a colleague of, he was a school principal anyway, was referring to his a colleague of his as Mr. Do as I say.
But don't do as I do.
So if Obasanjo says, let's fight corruption from the from the top, he may be a do as I say man, not do as I do. No, he tried to fight corruption during his days. Though he was
But
introducing-
corruption still festered during
Corruption,
his
the-
time.
the-
It was during his time that Ghana
Corruption.
must go was flying at the National Assembly.
corruption fought back.
Yeah, the corruption.
Even people say that he propagated do or die election.
Corruption fought back. You understand? Corruption fought back. And Obasanjo fight against corruption was an idea conceived during the Murtala Mohammed days. But the death of Murtala Mohammed did not allow that to manifest. If they had started then, something better would have happened to Nigeria of today. So we are only looking at the message. We should look at the message, not the message.
Not the messenger.
That is just my own thought.
No, none of our leaders is completely a saint.
No.
And something has to start. We have to start from somewhere. You have some, if a leader is completely free of corruption, those following will follow suit. So that is it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Tunde, Bolatito, and Sunday Adidune. We are sorry that this is the convenient point. We are going to draw the curtain off in the newsroom, but we are going to meet again tomorrow on this same program. I want to appreciate the executive producer, Moturayo Ayigbayo, and the producer, Oluwa Toyin Yusuf. I'm yours sincerely, Adeleke saying bye.
Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m.
Hello viewers, welcome to your darling station OSBC. Come enjoy a rich menu of programs. On OSBC TV, there is something you must watch. We have drama,
Honey, is it not eating?
I just heard strange words and incantations, like ritual songs, coming from his room.
It's okay. Let me go and talk to him.
sports,
It is Mel! Oh, yes! What a brilliant free kick!
good musicals, educational television, kids and cartoons. News on the go.
For prioritizing agriculture as a means of diversifying the economy.
Join us on StarTimes channel 113, Free TV 502, and follow us online at osbcng.org. Meet us on our social media platforms. OSBC Television, we keep you updated.
Almost every Nigerian knows late General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, the man who fought for the secession and freedom of the people of Biafra, a struggle which led to the Nigerian Civil War of 1967 to 1970. But little do they know who his father was. In this video, we bring to you the super interesting and inspirational story of Sir Louis Odumegwu Ojukwu, who was a notable businessman, transporter, real estate mogul, founding president of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and the very first Nigerian billionaire and richest to ever live on the face of the earth. He was so rich that the British colonial masters had to borrow his Rolls Royce to convey the Queen of England around Nigeria when she visited in 1956. Stay tuned as it brings you the interesting grass to grace story of Sir Louis Odumegwu Ojukwu, and also tell you the shocking reasons why he never wanted his son Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu to join the Nigerian army. But before we begin, if you're new to our channel, you're highly welcome to Laura Emi TV, and please do also click on that subscribe button, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so you can always stay notified and updated whenever we post a new video. We post very interesting content every day. Without further ado, let's jump right into our story. Born Louis Philip Odumegwu Ojukwu in the ancient city of Nnewi in 1909, he was the only boy and second of 4 children. Sir Ojukwu went to government primary school Asaba and on completion of his primary education in 1922, he proceeded to the only secondary school in the eastern region at that time, which is Hope Wardell Training Institute, Calabar. After completing his secondary education at Hope Wardell Training Institute, Calabar in 1928, Sir Louis secured a job as a tire sales clerk with John Holt PLC in 1929 in Lagos. While working as a tire clerk with John Holt, Sir Louis Ojukwu noticed that many Igbo traders who came to Lagos to buy tires always bought textile as well. With his meager savings, Sir Louis traveled down to Onitsha, where he opened his first business venture called Ojukwu Stores and employed one of his relatives to oversee it. Then, he returned to Lagos and started sending textiles on lorries to his shop while still working for John Holt PLC. His textile business boomed, and by 1930, Sir Louis bought a second-hand truck and employed a driver in order to move his goods himself, and Ojukwu Transport Company was born. Sir Ojukwu worked tirelessly, and by the end of 1930, he was the major transporter on the East-West Road in Nigeria. In 1939, on the outbreak of the World War II, the British government requested the use of Sir Ojukwu's fleet of trucks for the war, a deal he agreed to. When the war ended in 1945, the British government recognized the sacrifice he made, and he was awarded a KBE title, which means Knight of the British Empire. The end of the war also created a high demand for raw materials from West Africa, and Sir Ojukwu transport business exploded sky high, and he diversified into other businesses. Some of Sir Ojukwu early drivers, such as Chief Ilodibi, aka Ekenedeli Chukwu, and Chief Izuchukwu, the owner and founder of Izuchukwu Transport Company, would later become transport moguls themselves. Sir Ojukwu also reached that in 1956, when the Queen visited Nigeria, the British authorities had to borrow his Rolls Royce and personal driver to chauffeur the Queen around the country. Sir Louis was also a financial pillar of Nnamdi Azikiwe NCNC party, and when the party came to power in 1960, Sir Louis was offered the position of finance minister, which he turned down. The position ultimately went to Okoti Ebo. Sir Louis died in Nkalago, present-day Ebonyi State, in 1966. Sir Louis' CV is the most intimidating you would ever see, and his portfolios include the first president of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, President, African Continental Bank, Chairman, Nigerian Cement Company, CEO, Ojukwu Transport Company with over 5,000 fleets of trucks, Chairman, Nigerian National Shipping Line with over 100 ships and vessels, Chairman, Lion of African Insurance Company, Chairman, Pisco Nigeria Limited, Chairman, Nigerian Industrial Development Bank, founded to specifically give loans to industries, Vice President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce, Chairman, Palmline Shipping Company, Chairman, Nigerian Produce Marketing Corp, Chairman, Eastern Nigerian Development Corporation, Chairman, Coastal West Africa, Director, Shell Diaki Petroleum, Director, Thomas Watt and Saw, Director, Nigerian Coal Corporation, Director, Guinness Nigerian Limited, Director, Nigerian Tobacco Company, Director, Daily Times of Nigeria. The man was simply larger than life. Sir Louis also owned numerous buildings, landed properties, and stores. It is estimated that as at the time he died in 1966, he was worth about $40 billion in today's money. Sir Louis never wanted his son, Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu, to join the Nigerian army. He wanted him to assist in running the family's successful businesses. But Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu blatantly refused and secretly got himself enrolled into the Nigerian army, to the disappointment and dismay of his father. In an interview, Ojukwu said, and I quote, "My enlistment into the Nigerian army, to say the least, startled everybody in Nigeria who had of it. I went to Zaria and enlisted. I did that mainly because I didn't want any interference from the well-meaning influence of my father. I joined the army, signed up, but I wasn't to expect the embarrassment because it did not take long before my father was aware of it, and he did everything possible to stop the enlistment. This is why, despite my educational background, I was not enlisted as an officer cadre. The general idea was that it was agreed between the Governor General and my father that the best way actually was to let me go into the Nigerian army, and I would see for myself what the army truly was. I don't think they took into full consideration the level of stubbornness I must have acquired from my father as well, because I remember the question always came to Zaria from Lagos: how is he getting on? So guys, this is the story of Sir Louis Odumegu Ojukwu, the richest Nigerian man to ever grace the face of the earth, and the father of Biafran war leader.
The second year anniversary of the Governor Senator Dr. Ademola Nuruddin Jackson Adeleke is come and gone, with the ceremony witnessing the commissioning of many laudable achievements being part of the fulfillment of this administration agenda. As part of the Governor's effort to see to the ease and traffic flow around the state and capital city of Osogbo, he recently commissioned the halfway done East Bypass embarked upon by its predecessors. The completed Oba Adesoji Aderemi Road was commissioned on the 4th of December as part of the second year anniversary celebration.
At the inception of our administration, I have promised my God and the people of Osogbo that I will not abandon project inheritance from my predecessors. It is my considered view that the public project and public assets which is not wasted on the hunger of the people.
Aside from this, administration resolved to complete an inherited project, the stadium Okebale Garage Ilesha Road, has important significance for the economic well-being and safety of the people living along this route in Osogbo in general. Before the completion of this road, there have been reports of multiple fatal accidents and traffic gridlocks on this road, which the completion of its dualization hopes to solve permanently. It has also expanded economic growth of the capital city of Osogbo and will save our people from untimely deaths and injuries. However, there is need to guard against reckless driving and breaching of driving safely protocols, as it has come to the notice of the government the increasing hazards on some of these freshly completed roads due to overspeeding and one-way driving. We now use this medium to appeal to all road users to make it a point of duty to always adhere strictly to the laid down traffic rules and regulation in order to safeguard lives of our people. At this junction, we want to appreciate this administration and also to improve its traffic management system with features like traffic signals, variable message signs, speed camera to manage traffic flow and safety should be put in place where necessary. While signage and marking to guide drivers and pedestrians should be revamped where it is faded. Also, to the general populace, let us be aware that the drainage along these roads are not to be blocked with debris and to desist from burning refuse inside the drainage, as it weakens the concrete with which it was made, thereby destroying the drainage. As for the lightning, they are there to ensure safety and visibility and should not be dismantled or destroyed. Also, the Ministry of Works should also consider the possibility of constructing speed breakers where necessary. Again, the landscaping and environmental features put on those roads are there to mitigate the impact of the road on the surrounding environment and should not be misused or destroyed. This state is ours. Let's work to make it great.
Packaging la fi si. Nǹkan packaging ti wa kọ́ ló jẹ́ kó